Good morning, and thank you for joining me today for the Perks of Platinum webinar. I'm a little tongue-tied apparently, but thank you very much for being online today. Just going to send a quick chat just to be really sure that everybody's hearing me all right. I've also uploaded a handout, they call it, in the system. If you look in the upper right of your screen, you'll see a little area where you can use the chat to send me questions and see any comments that I type in text during the webinar. If you'll use that to submit any questions that you have along the way, I'll be glad to address those as best I can as they come up, but I'll also save some time toward the end for Q&A. If I'm not able to answer your question while we're online during the webinar, I'll email you directly afterward and follow up with you that way. All right, so you should see a chat pop up, a little question mark kind of icon, I believe is what it looks like for you. So that's the area, again, that you can click and use to submit questions by chat during the way. Since I'm not able to hear you, I'll address those that way. And good morning, Jolie. Thank you for using the chat. All right, so moving forward now with our Platinum features, I'm going to actually have a PowerPoint that's running throughout the presentation today, but I'm going to take you live online to the website and into the app that I'm discussing as well, so you can see it working a little more real time. Again, I posted the handout there, which is just a copy of my PowerPoint. So if you need to download that for reference later or want to try to follow along as I'm using it today in the presentation, that's good as well. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you for being here today. All right. So Perks of Platinum, as it says there, is the topic. Again, it's got all my contact information as well. Ask your questions along the way, but feel free to email or call should you need me when we are not virtually together. So just kind of jumping into the list of items I'm going to highlight today, the branded app is where we'll go first, and I'll be mirroring my phone to show you the actual app here just briefly. The rest are all online web-based tools for the most part. And you, at the moment, need to log into har.com as a member to be able to access most all of these. Our technology department is working on integrating those into the HAR app, so you'll have a little bit more streamlined method of using the tools and accessing the tools in the near future. But again, most of them are going to be web-based through the HAR member portal. Starting with the exception to that, of course, is the agent branded our HAR app. And just before I jump right into the tools, I want to show you a very short and sweet kind of overview of what the difference between the standard and platinum package of membership tools would be. So I've logged into the HAR member portal already. And off to the left where it says MLS in the upper left area, you'll see About, MLS Platinum. The Platinum Tools menu shows you the tools that you are already utilizing and or aren't utilizing. So you'll be able to see what's in the package as well as which ones you're already accessing and using, and then some maybe that you can pick up if you haven't begun using those. So under the About MLS Platinum area, it gives you a brief overview of, again, the service in general. And there's also a list of the tools on that page. And some FAQs. If you go into the MLS standard section, again, a brief overview of the tools that come with that package. But there's also a side-by-side comparison chart, a service comparison. And again, I'll just spend a moment here. In addition to the handout I provided, I'm recording the session today. So this will all be in a video format. Later this afternoon or tomorrow, I plan to be able to have that rendered and into a format that I can send it back to you. So anyone who registered will get a copy of the webinar recording, links to our classes, that handout I mentioned, and then reference back to this comparison chart. So when you join HAR, you get a pretty hefty set of standard tools, and you can see them listed in the leftmost column under standard or platinum there. As you scroll about halfway down the page, you see some of those start to go gray because they're only available through the Platinum package. A general Cliff Notes overview of what the Platinum package is in comparison to standard tools. Marketing and lead generation tools are all what the Platinum package is based on rather. You do get, again, a pretty good hefty set of tools. All of the things that you need to do your business are included with your standard membership. So you join HAR, you pay your dues and fees to HAR, TAR, NAR, and you get a pretty good, as I call it, toolkit of tools. Your access to MLS, the HAR mobile app. We've got CMA products. We advertise our agents and their listings on our webpage. So again, pretty good marketing standard with your membership. Platinum takes it up a notch, and kind of the best way to illustrate the difference between the two is the mobile app. It's a really good concrete example of kind of the difference. So I'm going to switch over now where I'm mirroring that. Again, this is my phone, my Droid, so it'll look a little bit different on an iPhone or a tablet if you're using the app on the tablet. But the standard version of our app has GPS capabilities built in. You, of course, typically are going to use the app to find properties and or agents. It's a consumer and realtor based app, so anyone really can download it and use it. If you're a member of HAR, you log into the app using your same user credentials that you would if you were logging into our website. Excuse me, a consumer would log in. They have to register and use an email and choose a password. And so they have some sort of username when they log in as well. And then again, you've got a very robust property search. We have features like car mode, which is somewhat self-explanatory by the name. Literally, if you click car mode, as you're driving down the street, if you see a listing sign in a yard and pull over, it's like a mom. She makes you park. If you pull over and park, it'll start reading the details of that property to you just based on what that listing agent had put into MLS. Again, all of those things are standard and more. There's plenty more to the app, but that's just kind of an overview and starting point with the app. Kind of hiding in plain sight, below my name there, you'll see it says My Branded App. This is now what gets enhanced, or what's the add-on feature for those of you who subscribe to the Platinum package. So additional marketing and lead generation tools. If I click My Branded App, I get a list of people that I'm already connected to. On a Droid phone, you have to click this word list over here on the left side. On an iPhone, down in the bottom left corner, it would say new customer. And then my Droid friends, we have to click this little person, but iPhone people can click that button or tab in the bottom left that says new customer. And then you get the opportunity to invite HAR contacts, meaning someone that may have already contacted you through an HAR means, like sent you a CMA request from your website or something like that. Add a new customer is truly somebody brand new from scratch. So you chatted up with somebody in the line at a Starbucks or the grocery store, or they come through your open house, something like that. Someone that you had not yet saved somewhere else. Import from your phone contacts, of course, are folks that are saved in your phone's contact list. You get to pick and choose. So even though you click import from my phone, it's not going to just mass download the list. You'll just decide which of those contacts you wanted to import. And so then it emails them an invitation that says, download this version of the HAR app. So even if they already have the standard HAR app, if that consumer follows your link and agrees to the terms, it does also present the IABS form on the screen to them. So they'll be able to see that information right away and then agree to connect to you. The other portion of the terms of agreement states they are who they say they are naturally, and that they will be getting access to some premium content they wouldn't typically. They'll get to see sold prices, the actual sold prices once they're connected to you, and those prices are typically not revealed to the average consumer. So that's what we would title premium data. They get a little price history, so they'll be able to see the most recent price changes for that particular MLS number. And then the biggest perk is they are connected to you, and it will now start to suppress all the listing agents' contact names and emails and phone numbers. So as that consumer, again, let's say you are hosting an open house, they walk through the open house and that particular home isn't going to work for them. You obviously don't want to say, well, then good luck and bye. You want to capture them, you want to nurture them, you want to call that into lead into an actual client. So if you say, I have this app you can download, we can be in touch all the time. I can see if there's anything else that can help you. HAR has somewhere upwards of 60,000 listings in our database in the Houston area alone. So plenty of other fish in the sea, as they say. So they're connected to you. Any requests for showings or questions about any listings, because they are your lead, your customer now within your phone app, all those leads are routed to you. And then I call it creepy cool. Once they have accepted your invitation and are connected, you may be able to see there, this last person, I invited them, but they didn't accept the invitation, but the first person did accept. And when I click on their name, I'll be able to see all of these different pieces of activity. I call it creepy cool. So even if they have not saved a search or favorited or bookmarked something, I can click this recently viewed listing section and see anything that that consumer ever looked at through the app to kind of get an idea of what they're interested in. Maybe they came through $1 million mansion, but then as I'm tracking their leads, I realize, or tracking their activity, I realize they're looking at, $80,000 townhomes. So now I get a better idea of what they're interested in. Mine is a fake client. I am not an active practicing agent, so I don't have any data on the recommended or other type sections, but those are different sections that you would have access to. You can also recommend listings to them through the app. So you can see there's a nearby or custom search option. The custom search allows you to put in a price range and beds and baths and your built-in pool or no pool, all those typical characteristics of a home that you would. And then that would send that or kind of tack that to their account, send them a notification. Again, the idea is we're staying in touch. I can reach out to them when I'd like. I can kind of go behind the scenes and do some of these soft touch type searches and push a property or two to them when I find one. It's a little different and less all day, every day than, say, a matrix auto email. Some people just aren't to that place yet where they're ready to get that kind of automated once a week or once a day or once a month type emails. So this allows you to, again, have a little bit more flexibility and just reach out to them manually, and for them, of course, to reach out to you at their convenience as well. So all of that is, again, built into the app. It's automatically available if you're subscribed to the Platinum package. You just click that My Branded app, start inviting folks, and then again, once they accept your invitations, you'll be able to spy on them for purposes of good, not evil. It does also send push notifications to your phone as well if they reach out and try to contact you and things like that. So it's a nice little robust lead module that's built right into the phone already. And then just while I'm on the topic of Platinum type apps, we do actually have a second app that's Platinum specific, meaning you have to be a part of the Platinum package to use it. And that's our open house registry. If you'll look specifically for the HAR open house registry, when you go to your app store, there are a lot of open house registry apps out there, but look specifically for HAR's app. And again, I'm a fake agent here at the moment, so I don't have a lot of content, but you can see you can add open houses to Matrix. You can start to host or request to host an open house. So the idea here is, again, I have an open house. It's being advertised, folks are going to be coming through. Typically, we have a piece of paper type registry that we lay out in an open house, and everyone coming through may or may not decide to write their name on there, and everybody that comes after that person can see everything they wrote down. So consumers are typically a little less likely to sign in and or put valid contact information there. And then you have to keep up with the piece of paper. You want to try to your best to keep it, secure and private as best you can, while also providing it to everyone. So the idea behind the app allows you to have the open house registry digitally in your tablet or phone. So I would say have an open house that I'm hosting. On my splash screen of my iPad or my phone, it says welcome to 1234 Maple, and there's a button to click to sign in. Consumers would walk up, type their name, their phone number, their email, whatever they elect to give me, and then hit submit, and then it will go back to a splash screen with a photo of the property welcoming to the open house at that address. So it's a secure database. Their contact information is now safely kind of tucked away behind the scenes so that the next person who walks up doesn't see that, and vice versa. And then you have that database. It's collecting all that for you. And so once the open house is over, you can email everyone who came a thank you for stopping by, let them know if you're hosting it open again, let them know if the price changes or any updates are made to the home, or any of those types of things that you would typically do with your open house type contacts. Also, where it says request to host, maybe you don't have a listing, but you'd like to offer to host something for someone. So maybe I have a listing, but I'm unable to physically go and do the open house this coming Sunday. I can turn that over to a fellow agent in my office. A couple of parameters. They have to also be subscribed to Platinum and using this app, and then I can turn over the open house to that particular agent. Again, I'm working with some empty data here, given that we're not truly a real estate office and truly agents here at HAR. But it would be just a matter of clicking request to host, choosing from a list of agents, open houses, and then as soon as you request that, the agent can assign it to you, and the agent can just push it to you as well without you having to request it first. And again, push notifications and such will pop up on your phone just based on your phone settings, as you typically would. And then also, you can download the database. So if you use a CRM and you want to take the people out of your open house app and put them into, say, your top producer or whatever it is, you can put them into your database, your CRM, and manage them. Again, still follow up with them when the price changes and all those other things I mentioned. But outside of the HAR app, you can do it in your other offline type third-party products if you need to do that. So those are the two biggest apps in terms of functionality, and ones that you might want to be sure that you have if you're subscribed to the Platinum package. Those are Platinum exclusive features and or apps. Again, the open house registry is only available to those who subscribe to Platinum, and then the branded features within the standard HAR app are only available to those who subscribe to Platinum. So moving away from my phone now, back over to just the website. We'll go into a few web-based products, like I mentioned at the top of the webinar. So I'm just going to go back to the dashboard. This page, again, looks probably quite familiar to all of you, given that you have to log in very regularly to access MLS and those types of things. And in the center, just a little left of center, there's a search any topic box. So if I talk about a tool or something that's of interest to you and you make note of the name of it, you can just use this search area to start typing a key term or the name of the tool. So if I just start typing website, for instance, which is what I'm about to talk about next, you'll see I can quickly go to that section. It'll then also highlight the paths in the menu items or menus on the left. So tools, website and blog, and then manager website is how you'd get to that Platinum web page that we're about to discuss. So some people are menu people and some people are not. So we've got two different ways that you can find all these tools. So just to kind of show you briefly an example of a few things, let me go to HAR like a consumer and then locate an agent by name. So every member gets what we call a profile. So this is Shad's profile page. Again, every member automatically gets a page that looks something like this just by joining HAR. You would upload your own photo. You do write out your own bio. You let us know whatever certifications or designations you have. And then that's displayed on the site automatically. Here's a link to click and or scan a QR code to download that the HAR app that we discussed, a little CMA request, a map detailing all of Shad's many, many listings and sales, Good job, Shad. And then neighborhoods he quote unquote specializes in. So again, all of you would have something similar to this if you've had any MLS activity. It'll automatically pull that, create this map for you. The little red pins indicate solds, the green ones are active, the orange ones are pending. So again, if you've sold or listed, it's already detailed on the page. It automatically creates this gallery of sorts for you, and then it automatically makes the neighborhood sections. So the neighborhoods that those listings or sales were in is what you quote unquote specialize in. There are a few things on this page that are platinum related, so I'm just going to skip that for a moment and circle back around. So all the rest of this page, minus the stars here, minus of course the little banner that says platinum, all of that standard. For those that are subscribing to the platinum package, you've got kind of the next level up. You can create your website, which is where we started a moment ago. And that's going to take a lot of the same content. So same picture, same bio, same designations, those types of things, and feature them on the website instead. This gives you a unique URL, and mine is actually har.com/my name. So this would be the URL I would promote, email out, share on social media, have on my business cards perhaps, something like that. So then consumers are driven to this particular page to be able to, again, do quite a few different things. As a non-practicing agent, I wouldn't want them to find me necessarily and ask for a CMA, but you would. So these are different consumer tools that are part of our template that you can take advantage of with that platinum subscription. So back where you're setting it up, again, we just go into manage your website first, and then you're going to have all of these tools in kind of a menu or wizard type setup across the top. So on the about page, that's where you go and write your bio, add your photo if you hadn't already. Again, declare any designations that you have. Not sure why the logo for that one's not showing up. Any languages that you might speak or cultures you might specialize in. If you wanted to kind of cross promote your social media platforms, if you have a Twitter account or a LinkedIn or a YouTube channel, you can just add those in, and then they're displayed on your website as well. Again, just kind of switching back and forth between building and display. See, near my name, all my little icons for my social media platform show there. So any consumer can kind of find me wherever they like to be. Some people are big Twitterers, some people aren't, some people like a YouTube channel, some people would like my webpage. So I've got kind of different representations of ways to find me there. And then moving into the Pages tab on the menu, these are all the portions of our template that we provide to our Platinum subscribers. And you simply check what you do want and uncheck what you don't want. If you're not a blogger, you don't want that feature, just simply uncheck it. If you don't want golf course type property information on your webpage, you can uncheck it. And then you can also use the little sort of gray lines in the center of each section header. If you click and hold and kind of drag it around, you can rearrange that. So if I wanted my bio at the very top of my page, for instance, I can bump that up and have that featured a little higher. If I want those consumer tools like a CMA request and all those types of things, then I can have that on my page a little higher. Excuse me. And then in the neighborhoods section, those are, again, initially being pulled from MLS. And then as a Platinum subscriber, you can edit that. So if I go back for a moment to Shad's example, on the map, he had quite a few listings in the greater Houston area, but he also has this one way up here near College Station, kind of between College Station and Navasota. So he clearly does not, quote unquote, specialize in that area. He had the luck of getting a nice referral, perhaps, or a sale, whatever the method was. He ended up with a sale in that area. So again, going back to feature what I specialize in, I probably don't want the neighborhood from the Navasota area. So as a Platinum subscriber, you can kind of decide to let it pull from MLS or customize that. So if you go into customize, you'll see it's a series of little bubbles you can click to select, and you can select any combination of up to 15. So this is a good place to kind of start selecting and deciding where you want business. Sure, I may have had that one listing up in the Woodlands, but I'd really like to focus my business on the Katy, Fort Bend, southwest type area of town. So if I quote unquote specialize in those neighborhoods, consumers looking for realtors in that area are going to see I have some sort of expertise or knowledge because it's listed there on my site as one of my specialty neighborhoods. So again, you just click the bubble if you want it. If it's highlighted blue, you've picked it. If you click it again, you unpick it. So it makes it pretty quick and easy to do that. And like I say, you can have a combination of up to 15 neighborhoods there. And then moving back to the Pages main menu. Again, that was all in the Neighborhoods sub menu. And then branding allows you to choose the background image, the color scheme. So on mine, I had this lovely daydream where I'm off at the beach and I'm camping and I'm drinking my coffee. In your case, of course, you might want something more real estate related. Shad has the skyline on his. Let me just switch over to his full web page. So his is a house. You can have the Houston skyline. You can upload your own images. You can choose from our catalog. So again, his, of course, is more real estate centric. So he's got his ratings, which we'll talk about in a moment. Those consumer centric tools for finding CMA requests, finding properties, those types of things. And he does blog. So he's got a link back to his blog. And you might notice he has the green color scheme going on his. He's with Gary Green. So he's enhanced his page to have the green color scheme. Mine has a gray blue type color scheme throughout, a light blue or scales of blue type color scheme. So again, back to where you're building it. All of that is done in branding. So where I have my beach scene, I can just click edit. Here are a handful of featured. There's, I think, 13 there, just random pictures we pulled from the catalog. But in the upper right where it says default, you can see you can pick from one of those few featured or upload your own, again, as long as it's not a copyrighted image or anything like that, and that it meets the specs of the size that it would need to be, which it will tell you as it's uploading. You can pull it from your computer or cloud storage or wherever you might have that. And then from the catalog is another choice. And we've got over 100,000 images in this catalog. If you type some keywords, a word or words here, you can see images specific to that keyword. So there's our skyline. This is in the city of Houston somewhere. This probably taken from the zoo. There's pictures of Energy Stadium, the rodeo, Blue Bonnet. So it's not necessarily all just very instantly recognizable as Houston. It's not all just a bunch of skyline pictures or something like that, but they do have some of those. And then we have other images that are related to the life and things that happen here in Houston and the greater Houston area. So we have some space center type photos. Here's again Toyota Center. So again, I've got 14 pages worth of pictures, somehow related to the key term Houston. And I only typed the one word, but I could put like lofts, luxury, townhomes, beach, campfire, whatever it is. You can choose any picture that you want, and this does truly showcase my personality. I am a huge beach lover. I like to camp and I really love my coffee. So this is showcasing a lot of my personality. So the image can be something not very cookie cutter real estate, but something again that might attract a consumer or give them an idea of things I specialize in or an insight to me as a person. They want to know your business accolades, of course, and how proficient you are and successful you are in those regards. But knowing that they have something in common with you as a human being also instills what I call the warm fuzzy. Oh, beach. She likes the beach. I like the beach. That automatically establishes kind of a subconscious level of trust that we didn't have before, because we have this unity, this commonality. So again, that picture is just a background image, but it can actually be quite powerful in connections with consumers who may not know you necessarily. And a little further down that same branding page, you can add a tagline. If you have a tagline or slogan, an official formal one, you can type it there. You can add your company logo. Your company may have already added that. You may or may not have the ability to add it yourself. Your broker or brokerage management team may have done that for you, though. The color palette in the upper right, again, Shad has the green color scheme. You can choose pink or golden or brown or whatever you would like. The default for pretty much everything HAR is the blue color scheme here on the palette. So that's what it'll start out with, and then you can change that should you choose. And then the last kind of add on to that, I'm going to back up to pages. So those are the big standard parts of our template. Again, you do have to be subscribed to Platinum to get to the template. And then create your website, check and uncheck what you do or don't want from the menu to be available there. And then kind of in a sub menu a little further down the page, you can see there is a My Pages section and a slider. So you can create your own custom content in addition to what we give you in the template. Again, you can uncheck some of those things from that page that you might not use or want or like or whatever the reasoning. And then you can go over to My Pages and create your own custom content, or on the slider, create some content. Back at my preview of mine, this is the slider. Give it a moment and it'll slide. So I've got a fake open house being advertised there, a fake new listing being advertised. I've got links to some articles, some content I created on my personal webpage, but it could be to anything on, HAR's page, or HGTV is where I found this info. And as you can see, it slides, so it's eye-catching. It's a little bit something different. Again, a little bit different way to market certain things. And the slider's just designed to be a little bit of a headline, a line or two, and a picture. So very short and sweet and to the point. A web page, again, that custom content you can create, is going to show up in the menu. It's going to be a lot more robust content. Of course, it's a page, so it's got a whole page worth of content potentially. And again, I just happened to Google some terms, came up with this cool article that I liked, or this info that I liked from HGTV. I made sure to cite the source. So I'm sharing and citing the source and giving credit where credit's due, not stealing content. But again, I've got a pretty decent, robust page of helpful tips for sellers and one for buyers. That didn't take me a lot of time to research and pull up to post, just a little copy paste, cite the source, and then I was done creating 2 custom web pages for my site. So again, on the My Pages section, you'd simply click Create New, give it a title, add an image, go to town typing up. If you have a great knowledge on a topic, showcase that knowledge, showcase that expertise. There are all sorts of, again, what I refer to as warm fuzzies. The rodeo is here. That's one of the biggest cultural events in Houston. It kind of is representative of the Houston culture, where everybody goes there. Everybody loves the rodeo, the concerts, the carnival, all of those things. So you can showcase some information about the park and ride schedules and the concert schedule and things like that. It could also be, the top new listings in your area, open houses that are coming up. So it can be much more real estate centric, or some of those community events, parades and Easter egg hunts, and all of those things that are very time sensitive, holiday type events. Again, the idea is to have some content, that a consumer can identify with, kind of lure them in, give them that information, showcase your expertise, and then hopefully capture them and continue to woo them on over to the real estate side of things and make them into customers at that point. And then in that same section, again, is the slider content. So same principle, create new, give it a title, add an image, and write or copy paste your content there, and click create in the bottom left to save that. Now on the slider, that content is live instantly. So as soon as I make my title, picture, content, and hit create, the slider is up and running and made public where everybody can see that. On Pages, you can create multiple pages but not necessarily add them to your menu yet. So again, my Easter egg hunt and holiday parades or whatever it might be, I can write up the content for, you know, summer fun. Here's some water parks and fun things to do on spring break or summer or whatever. And then when I'm ready to make it live, I can click this add to menu button and pick a section. But until then, it's just kind of sitting, waiting, ready to go in that pages section. So you can knock out a couple of those pages in a day, a couple hours in a day, find some good content and kind of bank those and have them waiting ready to go. And then you just manually add them to the menu and make them live once you want to do that. So again, menu in the upper left here, they don't show up until you add them to the menu items, and then Find a Home, Consumer Tools, or Resource Center are the three big topics or sections to that menu. The little eyeball throughout our site, wherever you see that little eye, lets you preview. So you can again open that and check it out and see how it's laid out, make sure the font looks right and all that good stuff. And it also has its own unique URL. So this is something you can now email out, share on social media, again, all those ways that you might promote or market that content and your expertise on that topic. So moving from about, pages, and branding, again, those are the kind of standard, most important, big foundational pieces of the web page. Then you can come back to pages and add in your personal content. And then you can also turn on this add-on feature if you choose to do that. So Virtual Office Website is the next tool that I'm going to jump into. And I personally just don't have the feature since I'm hiding more from consumers than the agent would be, since I don't practice as an employee of HAR. And while we're switching accounts here, so I've got some better examples for you. Looking at my questions. Yes, I am recording this, and you will get a link to the recording after the session. Anybody who registered will get a copy. Jolie, I shared the link from my app to Facebook, and when I followed the link from my Facebook post, it shows the listing agent. That one can be a little tricky. There's a couple of different places where if you share it a certain way, it features you as the Platinum subscriber, and if you're not a Platinum subscriber, it would feature the listing agent. And then there's certain places that if you share a certain type of page, it's going to feature the listing agent because it's a Platinum perk of theirs. I know that's just probably making this less helpful than more helpful that I'm trying to address your question, Jolie. If you will, let me contact you afterward on the webinar, and we'll just follow the breadcrumb trail that you went through just to be sure which method it was and all of that. I'll be glad to help him see that it's working correctly for you, first of all, and then just show you kind of the nuances of the difference. You're very welcome. Thank you for submitting that question. All right, so logging in as Shad now because he's a practicing agent. I'm on that Virtual Office website section of the website building menu. Still same manager website. We're just going in order of the menus there. And then he has a button. Again, I don't have the button, but he does. Sign up to view premium content. So this is going to be the web-based version of what we talked about with the agent branded app. So from my phone, remember, I can send a request to a consumer. They can connect to me. They see actual sold prices. I'm their go-to agent 24/7. They can reach out to me, get information from me. All of those types of things are available in a web-based version. I'm always going to have some people who are smartphone app kind of people and some people who just aren't. So this gives me an opportunity to market to and offer the same kind of tool to a consumer who would prefer to be web-based or sit at a computer. So looking again at the button up at the top, if we click sign up to view premium content, they would fill in their name, email, passwords, phones, whatever it is they'd like to provide. Again, a consumer on HAR does have to be registered with our site and or our app in order to use it. So it requires an email and password. If they already have one, they can just put it here. You don't ever know what that password is, so it's secure from them if that's a concern of theirs. And then information about brokerage services or the IABS form, again, is presented on the screen in both the app invitation and the web-based invitation. So they would presumably fill out that form, hit submit, and you get an email to let you know they've subscribed. And then back at Shad's page, I can see here he's got 24 subscribers. So if I click the 24 and go into that section, again, my Marylandism for this is creepy cool because I can see all the folks that have subscribed, who's active, who's not active any longer. And then if we click on a person's name, most of these are employees here at HAR, so I'm not going to get too creepy and look at somebody's actual consumer profile. This gives me any saved searches they've created, if they've marked something as a favorite. Excuse me, again, I can add recommendations to them. So if I think they're just going to love 123 Maple Street, I just need to know the MLS number, but that would then push that to them as a recommended listing, and they'll get a notification about that and be able to see that on their web page. Recently viewed properties, recently sold. So things that they had looked at but then sold is what goes in the recently viewed sold area. So again, I can see an awful lot of information about this subscriber without necessarily having to reach out to them, without having to go into Matrix, without having an auto email set up and sending something to them every single solitary day or throughout the day. Again, some people are just not quite in the state where they're ready for those auto emails to be delivered straight to them. They want to be more in control of the contact and the frequency of contact. So this gives you that opportunity to do that. And again, it's called the Virtual Office website. You decide if you do or don't want it. Turn it on if you want it on, turn it off if you don't want it off. He's opted in already, so it says click here to opt out, but if you have not yet opted in, you won't see the little circles. You'll see click this button to opt in, and then the little button starts to appear on your page. Now, I would suggest maybe promoting that a little bit more than just having it there, because it says sign up to view premium content. That's really all it says. It doesn't really tell them what premium content means. Maybe this is a good place to use the slider. If you click the button in the top right, you get access to data you wouldn't get as a typical consumer. I'll be your available agent 24/7 if you have questions. Say it however you'd like, to kind of push that or promote that. Also, if you don't have an official tagline or slogan, when you're building your web page, you could use this tagline area to just type a little blurb about the button. I don't have the button again, but I also don't have a tagline, but I just use the area back on that branding page to say, click that button up there, and it would be fantastic stuff that you get once you're registered. So again, use your own personal preference there with the first choice, use it or don't use it, and then promote it however it is you see fit. We do have a promote section here in this menu, which would give you links to your website, so har.com/Marilyn Maxwell, or specifically that VOW sign up page. So again, I can push that to social media and they would land right on that page asking for their name, phone number, presenting the IBS form and all of that. So a quick share to promote. And kind of going back to the question that was presented in the chat as well as this feature, if you're subscribed to the Platinum package, when you share property from most typical places like a consumer, it's going to suppress the listing agent information. If you are subscribed to Platinum and you're the listing agent, we have a couple of extra bells and whistles for you also. We try to feature the listing agent as much as we possibly can, particularly if you're a listing and you're sharing any content, marketing your own listings, it's always going to be the listing agent. And then we have certain marketing pages that are created specifically for our Platinum subscribers, like the website and the Val page and things like that. And I know that's kind of a big broad overview of that statement, but there's only so much time here in this webinar. We do have tools to enhance your real estate business, that classroom training. It's 3 hours of CE credit, and it goes through a kind of an overview of all the standard and Platinum tools in that class. You can kind of see the difference. And then we have a lead gen class, which is just only the Platinum tools. So you're working hands-on in both those classes, spending more time on just Platinum tools only and setting those up and using those in that lead gen class. Again, that's going to be part of the email I send out to you to follow up with you after the webinar. So you'll have all that as well. All right, so hitting another couple of tools here. Again, kind of sort of like an add-on to the website would be your ratings and reviews, client experience rating specifically. So I'm still in the tools menu. I'm out of website and blog down into client experience rating. And these are the little gold stars near Shad's name. He's got a 4.86 out of 5 out of, gosh, hundreds of transactions. And this is another kind of all or nothing. Participate or don't participate. That's your first choice. So it's one of the tools you have access to in the Platinum package, but you're not required to use it if you don't want to. If you do choose to use the tool, you do have to send out a request for survey to everyone you close a transaction with. So as soon as you have a closing through MLS, it's all MLS driven, you'll get an email that says, congratulations on your closing, click this link, give us the name, the email of your client, and it'll send a survey request. It's obviously worded much more professionally than that, but that's the gist. And then once you provide the name and email address of that consumer, it goes into a secure database. Again, we don't use that for any purpose. It's just only for the automated system to send the survey request to that one client, and that's it. And then you can see here on Chad's, he has some that are completed, some that are pending the response from the client still. It doesn't count against you in any way, shape, or form if that client doesn't reply. You're just required to send out that request within a 15-day window after it closes. So you'll close. Again, you get the email from our system automatically. If you ignore that request, 7 days after closing, you get an email reminding you still need to send out that client rating request. If you still don't do anything, 10 days after closing, you get another email reminding you. And then if you still don't do it, on the 15th day, you get an email letting you know that you have been opted out of the client experience rating, meaning the display of your stars, your results has been taken down. If you get behind for some reason, it happens, life takes over sometimes, we forget, those emails got caught in spam, whatever, maybe you got to go on vacation, who knows. But if you just play catch up, send out the requests that you missed, you're right back in the program. So I miss one, I go back 20 days later, I send out the request, I'm opted right back into client experience rating. We do offer a one-time reset, and the program has been up and running since 2008. So again, you can go back in time and have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, but maybe you started it way back in 2009, you took a break from it, and now you're trying to get back in, and you've got umpteen expired or backlogged survey requests you hadn't sent out. You can do a one-time reset on your account. You can pick any date that you want as your new start date in the program. So I could pick last week or January of 2017 or any date I want. It purges everything prior to that date, and then I must send out the requests for every survey or closing after that date and until the end of time while I'm participating in client rating, but it does at least get me over that hurdle. To reset, you just need to contact someone in our our education department, professional development department. The phone extension is 371. So the main number is 629-1900, extension 371 is client rating. You can also email them at clientexperiencerating@har.com if you've got any questions or issues. And I've got some chat questions popping up. So what do I do if I have a transaction that's in the MLS, but the listing agent didn't put you as the selling agent, if I'm understanding that question correctly? I don't have my glasses on, nothing personal about how you wrote the question there, Roxy. If you did not get credit in the MLS, you naturally don't get the automated email from us, but you can just contact our MLS department and let them know that you should have, been credited as the selling agent on that particular transaction. They may ask you to provide a settlement statement or execute a contract, something like that, just to show that you were, and then they can easily get the MLS changed and give you credit there. And if it's the opposite of that, where someone gave you credit but you weren't an agent on the transaction, the MLS department can help you change that as well. So clients don't receive these emails. That could be something with their spam filters on their end. If they add client experience rating at har.com to their approved list, whitelist, good senders list, several different euphemisms for it in the email servers, that typically resolves the issue with them not getting the email. Okay. Hopefully I answered your question as well, Roxy. Let me know if I didn't. Paulette, what if you get a bad survey? So yes, the all or nothingness of client experience rating. When you ask someone their opinion, they're going to give it to you, right? So it's a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. And it is subject to that consumer's opinion. So maybe they thought, nobody's perfect. So all 4s is the absolute best in their book, but you really worked hard and you were really expecting 5s. We can't change it because that's just simply a difference in opinion. Obviously, if they say something slanderous or that's not specifically related to you or that specific transaction, meaning if they say, oh, that title company messed everything up and gave you 2 stars or something, that's not what that survey is supposed to be about. It clearly says in big, bold letters when they get their survey request that it must be about you only and with relationship to that one closing. We can work with you on that. Again, I've had quite a few consumers contact us and saying, oh no, they were number 1 in my book. I didn't realize that was the worst on your scale. So we can work with those things. Again, if it's their personal preference, it was just too sunshiny that day, and so they just gave you 3s. We may not be able to change it just based on that. It is, excuse me, averaged in. So if you have 10 closings, 10 surveys have been submitted, and you have 1 to 4 and the rest are 5s, you'll always have a 4.9 something, but it will begin to blend and move further and further and further down the display as you continue to participate in the rating program. You also have comments. So if the consumer just ticks the stars and submits it, you still have the option to make a response comment. If they write comments and then you want to respond, you can do that. The consumer only has 1 text response, and you also only have 1 ability to text respond. Obviously, we don't want it to get into a nitpicky match or an argument back and forth, so we only offer the 1 opportunity to write comments. But take the high road. If they say something, a little nitpicky, you can say, it was fantastic to work with you. So excited that you were in your brand new home in 2 weeks, right? So that insinuates you worked hard, you closed in 2 weeks, but you're not saying, gosh, you're so tacky or something like that. So again, a couple of options there. And the biggest is participate or don't participate. If it just doesn't really work for you, you can get out anytime you want. You can stop. Again, you've got that one-time reset. So if there's some big issue, we also have a client rating advisory committee. So if there's something that, again, a difference of opinion can really vary. It can be a very strong difference of opinion. If you've got any, emails or documentation or something that can help support your side of the story and things like that, we can submit those to the committee. They can look it over and decide if they want to give a reprieve to purge a certain survey or something like that. So we're not sympathetic. We just are trying to make it as transparent as possible. So again, hope all that long explanation of things helps clear things up. Again, if you've got any other questions or comments, let me know. Again, if they don't respond, that's not going to count against you in any way. So all these that say pending, he sent it, he fulfilled his requirement for the program, he can continue to resend and ask again on any of those if he wants, but doesn't need to. And then once it's completed by the consumer and submitted, you get an email to let you know that. It's also always posted inside your client portal, so you can open this area and look to not only send out requests, but see what's submitted. There are a rare few types of transactions where you are not required to send out the survey request. If you're the client, we actually have a guideline against you rating yourself, though I'm sure that you are fantastic. If you are the seller of the property or the buyer of the property, we don't have those included in your rating system. And then if it's like a foreclosure, a short sale, corporate relo, those types of things, we don't require that you send those. Often you don't have a traditional type client in that situation. It's a, financial institution representative with a foreclosure and those kinds of things. So you don't have to send out the request just on those few types. As long as you put in seller's disclosures in MLS, the disclosure section rather of MLS, that it's owner agent, corporate, foreclosure, then it'll automatically waive those. If you're the buyer, we don't know that. So when you get that automated email congratulating you on your closing, just reply and say, I was the buyer, and we'll take care of it for you on our end. And then last but not least, you can see completed but not published on SHADS. Again, it's all or nothing. Up here in your opt-in preference settings, you either display all of your results or none of your results. And as soon as a consumer responds and submits a survey, then it'll say, again, email you and let you know, but publish now publishes it right now. If I don't click publish now, then within 10 days, it'll auto publish. If I've got my display turned to display all and that's on, then it's going to automatically publish. You can't pick and choose individual surveys that you do or don't want to publish. It's publish everything or don't publish anything. And again, in your opt-in preference settings, show everything or show nothing, or I don't want to do client rating any longer. Those are your three choices there. Right? But again, it's going to display throughout HAR wherever your name appears. Your stars are going to be there next to it, and consumers can click to view your rating detail at any point and see the categories that you were rated based on, the stars you got in each category, as well as your overall. And again, if the consumer makes any comments and or you make some comments, those would show here as well. Just wanted to see if Shad had one. Yes, here's an example of the agent comment. So that's the public view. And then again, that's a unique URL, so I could share that to social media, email it out, print it, and have it as part of a listing packet, something like that, if that's what I wanted to do. And then back inside the portal where we're building it, this rating badge is code that you can copy and paste and have on your non-HAR site. So if you have a MarilynMaxwell.com and you want your stars to be over on your personal webpage as well, you can simply copy the code, paste it, and have that functionality on your personal website. And we've got several different display types, so several different sets of code. So this is the simplest, just the stars and the grand total number of stars and that link to the full report. So I would copy this code, copy the script, paste it over on my other website. There's one with your picture next to the ratings. There's one with your picture next to the ratings with the definition of each category. And then one with your picture, your rating, the definitions, and that running list of any comments consumers have made. So just depending on how robust a display you want on your third-party site, you can copy the code for the particular layout you like and do that. And last but not least, there is a watch and learn section here. There's also watch and learn available for pretty much every single tool. If I go back to where we were building our site, there's a little watch and learn link there. So we've got a video that runs on average 2-ish minutes for almost every single tool. So you can pretty quickly and easily have an overview of what I'm talking about today, or learn about a tool you may not have known anything about from watching that little snippet of a video. And then of course we've got those classes that I mentioned earlier if you want to do more hands-on classroom style training. So last couple of things here in terms of marketing, listings specifically. Ratings would be marketing yourself, the app, the website, more our personal marketing pieces. But now getting into marketing listings, I'm still in tools off to the left here, and now I'm in the marketing tools submenu. So just a little down from that website and a little above ratings and reviews. Not too ironically, most all of our tools are in our tools section. And then automatic social media posting is the next tool. And as the name insinuates, again, it is to automatically post information. Whatever you do in MLS, it'll create a social media post for you and push that out. Quote unquote, automatically. Facebook's guidelines don't actually allow direct third-party posting to their site. So our system will craft the text of the post for you and then send you an email. And there'll be a little button, a link to click to push the post to your Facebook account. And you can choose business or personal Facebook before you publish it. So you can decide which of your Facebook pages you want it going to. And then, of course, Twitter and LinkedIn are two options there as well. Instagram, again, doesn't allow any kind of third-party posting directly to their site, so that's why it's not a choice there. There are several other social media platforms out there, but they don't allow auto posting from a third party. So you've got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then this is the type of post that it would craft for you. Sold properties, open houses, just reduced, new listings. So again, it'll make this text, create the post with this unique URL, email you and say your post is ready to go, click the button, and then you can choose personal or business Facebook. If you connect it to Twitter or LinkedIn, it'll automatically push it to those sites for you. So it's just a matter of putting your username and password for that particular social media site. Even if you don't have listings right now, you can easily just connect the sites and then it's up and running and ready to go should you ever have activity in MLS. If you already have a new listing, for instance, you got that listing last week, you missed the window where you knew this tool was available. Now, if you have an open house, that post will go out, or if you reduce the price or whatever it might be, it'll pick up from the day you connect it on. And again, there's a watch and learn there as well. So that's, again, automatic social media posting in that tools and marketing tools section. Also in that same section is Market Insight. Market Insight, again, somewhat self-explanatory name. It is to give consumers an insight into a particular market. And market is somewhat subjective. You can kind of pick what you define as market. It can be subdivision, zip code, geo market area. You can draw on the map even. So just pretending that this is one of my listings here, I would be able to click this little kind of piece of paper looking icon off to the left. I wouldn't have a pencil if it was not already set up. So you'll initially just see the little piece of paper kind of shape and then the little eyeball to preview. And you would click that to create. Since this is Shad's account, I'm not going to mess too much with his setup and settings, but I'll preview one of these just so that you can see the end result here. Click the eyeball. And this is the finished product. And then I'll go back and show you how you can walk through the steps of setting it up. But just to kind of show you the end result here, again, this is his listing on Dentwood. These are the photos from MLS. If you click all photos, it gives you a photo gallery so you can scroll through and see them. The report is, again, an insight, an overview of what's happening in that particular market as you define it. So whether it's the subdivision or zip or the large geographic area or whatever it might be, in his scenario, the average price per square foot of listings is about 87. The sale price per square foot is about 80, so they're selling just below where they were listing. 160 is about average list, but 145,000 is the average sale price in that area. It's a buyer's market currently, again, in whatever geographic scope and whatever criteria parameters he chose when he set up the report. And homes in a similar square footage and price range that are pending, there's just the one currently. So not a lot of competition potentially in their area, but still a little movement in the area. That one's in pending, which is a good trend to note. If there's 2 active currently and now one's in pending, it does show promise for things like his home moving in that particular market. So you can see a detail of listed price reductions would be here as well. Recently sold properties are there as well. And then it keeps itself up to date. This report would be something that would be emailed automatically once a week or once a month, and you get to choose which and send it out by email. So back at Market Insight, again, you would just simply click the create, and then it's 3 separate little steps. You pick the geographic area, you type the email of the consumer you want it to go to, and then pick once a week or once a month to send it out. And then the last little tidbit here for you is home site, still in the marketing section. This relates to, again, listings that you would have in inventory. This is a page created specifically for your listing. As the listing agent, it gives you an additional marketing web page. So this is a URL unique to that home. It does not allow the consumer to drift off to the other parts of har.com and accidentally find another listing agent or another house or whatever. So this is a much more robust marketing piece to share on social media or email or promote in whatever way you're promoting. You can customize the color scheme a bit here. So he's got kind of a black and white thing going on, but you can just click and hold and drag on the color palette here to change. Again, the default on HAR is a royal blue color scheme, so you can change that as you see fit. And with these quick share options here at the top, again, presuming I'm the listing agent, if I were to share it, I'm going to feature myself only. Back on HAR as a consumer, on the side of listing data, there's some quick share items that run down the far left that will always feature the sharing agent, not the listing agent. Hope that makes sense since there's not really a visual on the screen currently. And the last thing I'll leave you with is tools for your non-HAR site. So the third-party web page, mymarilynmaxwell.com. Say I want all these cool tools and such, but I don't want to use the HAR template, or I want to have both. That's totally fine. You're paying for the service. So if you just go to that third-party section, tools for your non-HAR site, rather, IDX tools and widgets. Again, we've got code for all these different tools. If you just click Get Code, copy, paste to your personal web page, you've got all the functionality built into your non-HAR web page. So if you don't choose to use our template, no problem. And I was kind of scoping out the questions as they were coming in. I don't see any other things. Again, I didn't read you all my PowerPoint slides, but I've got a slide for pretty much everything that I did mention. Again, feel free to reach out by email or phone. And don't forget, you'll be receiving an email from me in the next day or so with the link to the recording of this webinar, a link back to the handout that I've already provided within that webinar layout for you, and then some links to classes and things like that. So you'll be hearing from me again, but I really appreciate you staying online with me today. I think I went over by about like 6 minutes or something, so thank you especially for the extra 6 minutes of your life. I hope that you got something good out of today and that you learned at least one new thing and that you'll jump in and go use some of those great tools that you have at your disposal. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you need anything above and beyond. Just give me a day or so to send out that follow-up email. It takes a while for the video to render, and then I have to edit it and then submit it and then be able to email it. So just be a little patient, but within 24 hours, you should have that in your little pockets. Thanks again so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the sun. It's out today. Thanks again for your time. Bye-bye.